It's this idea that you have to somehow alter your values or principles to align with your clients, whereas I think it's actually quite the opposite. So meaning that I actually think it is your values and principles that attract your clients. So an example could be if someone were to say, I want to find love and I want to find this great woman out there, and why can't I find love? And really instead the question should be, how do I attract that, and how can I be the type of human being that would attract the type of person that I'm looking for? So for example, when we look at our organization in terms of our values, which I also consider mindsets in a way, because values are in many ways like how the work gets done. But when we look at what are our values and principles and standards, of course, we're very growth minded. We look for others who are also growth minded and entrepreneurial, who are also results driven, who are committed to making their futures greater than their past. So all of those things. And we are not for everyone. And this is what I would encourage anybody who's listening to this, that you do not have to build the type of law firm that is for everyone. In fact, I would argue that if you try to market in a way that is for everyone, then you're not going to resonate strongly with anyone, and you're actually going to really struggle to differentiate and stand out. Whereas instead, we make it very clear, like, look, we're not the company that gives you warm hugs and we ask you to hug it out. I mean, we're here to be, SEAL Team 6, and we want people to succeed at the highest level, and it's tough love. And I think that absolutely turns away a lot of people, but I also think it attracts the very clients that we have, and it attracts them and engages them for that very reason. So I would instead say, instead of trying to alter your values and principles, really hone in on them, own them, like really own who you are, make it very clear. This is what we're about. These are our values. These are our standards. And you may find that you actually are attracting more clients, because then they're saying, oh, wow, look, somebody stands for something. Somebody has an opinion, versus just drifting through the wind and being vanilla. So I would really think about it from the standpoint of how can you make sure that you are articulating your own values very clearly, and then you're standing by them, because basically what your values are what you're going to attract. And be careful to not dilute that. Years ago, we had a client who came to us and signed on, and we said, look, these are our values. This is how we work together. We're going to be collaborative. If you ever have a question, just ask. We're going to be responsive, but we ask that you are responsive as well. And they're like, good, check. And then in the days that followed, they essentially broke all those rules. And then they were disrespectful to team members. And then they were using all sorts of, in this day and age, I don't even understand it. Like they said, they didn't want to work with like a female client success manager or something like that. But that meant, hey, this doesn't align with our values. We're not in alignment. We're just not a good fit. Boom. That's it. We gracefully exited that relationship. So I would just say that, yes, that is a luxury, and sticking to that very early on is a luxury. If it means that, hey, if you're going to have to part ways with someone, but that means that now you can't make payroll, or now you can't take care of your team, or whatever it is, there's a gray area there. But the goal is that you can attract the client that you want by being very clear on what your values are and laying out that code early on. Team members that you're going to attract, same thing. Team members, clients, anyone you want to attract is going to be very much dependent upon the values that you exude. And this is why I think a lot of organizations struggle in hiring, because they're like, why can't we attract the best trial lawyers, the best legal staff? And you think, well, why would they want to work at your practice, right? I mean, you don't differentiate or stand out in any way. They don't really know, well, what makes your culture unique? What are your values? Because they don't really see them articulated. They just see, hey, we'll fight hard for you. Great. But they see that with every other law firm. So in many ways, you don't stand for anything. And if you want to attract the best, I think the best are attracted to those that have an opinion and a position. And sometimes if you can't be the best, well, then at least be different.